everyone and welcome to this video. Today we are going to be starting a new project and it's going to be Space Invaders. Now I'll be splitting this project into some little parts and today we're doing part 1 and for this Space Invaders project we'll be using the pygame module. Now this one is a bit more advanced than Turtle um and it will like get you thinking about more advanced games that use the pygame module. Okay, so in this video we're going to be looking at the window of our game, the title, and the player. Okay, so this is in the next video we'll be looking at some other stuff. I'll tell you what it is at the end of this video. So let's actually get started. And before we actually do get started, a quick note. I won't be showing you the preview because I would like to keep it as a surprise. So you can actually structure the game yourself. So you don't so you can structure your game yourself after we have made it together. And you won't have to like have any expectations or anything. Okay? So this is why I'm not showing you the what is it called? The preview. Okay, so let's actually start coding. So here I am at my Python project. I called it main.py. And first you need to import pygame. Now if you haven't installed it or anything, what you can do is you can go to the terminal. Okay, so if I type in if I go to terminal, we'll just wait for it, and if I put in pip install pygame. Okay, so whoops, sorry, let me just install pygame. And it should say requirement already satisfied. Otherwise, all you need to do is just type that in. Okay, so let's close that because I don't want that anymore. And what I'm going to do actually, so sorry, let me just do something first. Okay, so first what we need to do is import it. So here we're going to use the import statement. So I need to say import pygame. Okay, so I'm using PyCharm here, so that's why it came up with that. Now PyCharm is really good if you want to do some coding because it helps you format your code really good and it's really nice to use. So first we want to create the game window, as I said. But before we do that, we want to initialize the game. So I'm just gonna write a comment. I'm just gonna write a comment saying initialize the game. Okay. Whoops, what happened there? Initialize the game. Okay, so we want to actually initialize it so we can actually use the PyCharm methods and functions. So I'm going to say pygame dot init. Okay, so we're initializing our game. And obviously we want to create the screen. So what I'm going to say here is I'm going to say screen is equal to. Okay, so I'm going to make a variable called screen. You can call it window or whatever you like, but I'm going to call it screen. So it's really easy as well. So pygame, you can do a one-liner to make a screen. It's really easy. So I'm going to say pygame. Whoops, what happened here? Pygame, and then dot display, because we want to display our screen, and then set mode. Now, this set mode basically sets the size for your screen, and if you want to do that you need to put in another set of brackets, and then I'm going to put in the size 800 by 600. Now this is a very good recommended size, so I'd recommend this. And don't forget these brackets when you're putting the size in, okay? Because if you only put in these if you only put in these highlighted brackets over here, then you'll get it won't work properly. Okay, so let's actually see if it works. But before we do that, I'm just gonna write a comment. So I'm just gonna call this. I'm just gonna say create the screen. Okay, so now let's run it. Shift F10. Okay, so that's a shortcut. So if I just do it again. So my screen comes up and disappears. Okay, so that can be really annoying sometimes. Loads of people hate that when it happens. So why is this coming up? So if I do it again, whoops, Shift and F10, sorry. If I do it again, well, it's just coming and going. Now that is actually really annoying. Now the reason it's doing this is because we haven't set any kind of loop for it to happen. So what we can do here is I'm just going to put a comment and I'm going to write in main game loop, okay, because we want an actual loop for our game. Now here we need to use a while loop. So I'm going to say while true, while true pass. So this is basically going to make an infinity loop, and let's see. So here I've got my pygame window, it's staying great, but I can't really close it, can I? So what we have to do is we need to disconnect our project and do all of those unnecessary stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a variable called running. So I'm going to say running is equal to true. Okay, so basically this means if the game is running. So I'm going to say while running. So basically this is a shortcut for saying while running is equal to true. Okay, so if I write that and then put a colon at the end, if I write that, you'll see that Pepe has started complaining. Now Pepe is basically tells you how to format your code properly. So it says expression can be simplified. And if we just put in running, then the Pepe has stopped complaining. So that's why I recommend PyCharm. It gives you a lot of nice formatting tips and everything. So that's why I recommend having this. So I'm going to put in a for loop. So I'm going to say for event in pygame dot event dot get. So it will get all the events that happen or when you are running the game. So for example, key presses, or let's say I don't know, letters being typed down, something like that. So I'm gonna say if event dot type. So if the type of the event is equal to, so basically if the event is maybe if the event is pygame dot quit. Okay, so instead of putting that quit, it's easier to put it all in caps. Okay, now what this means is if the X button is pressed. Okay, so if the X button is pressed, then so like this, if this button is pressed, then it will quit the thing. Okay, so if I just say running is equal to false, and then I run it, there we go. And let's test if we can touch the button. Okay, so that's working beautifully. Okay, so what we have done so far is we have set up a loop so our game doesn't keeps on the screen, and so we can press the X button as well. We've set the size for our screen, we've initialized our game, and also, most importantly, we've imported it. So now we are going to set the title and the screen color of our game. Okay, so this is really important, and let's get on to it. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to set the title and the screen color. So right under where we create the screen, what we want to do, and I'm just going to put a comment. You don't have to do that. I'm just doing it to make it more organized. We want to set our title. Now this is also a one-liner, and it's really easy. So I'm going to say pygame dot display dot set caption. Okay, so what's that caption it will do? It'll set like the title of the game. So I'm going to set it to space invaders. Okay, so this one is really nice. So what I can do is if I say shift F10, As you can see, it says Space Invaders now. Okay, so that's brilliant. So now what we need to do is we want to set the screen color, okay? So actually we'll just be keeping it black, but I just want to give you an idea of what you can do. So right under right inside our loop over here. So let me just disconnect this first. So right in our while loop, because we want the screen to be there. We want the screen color to be there. When it is running. Okay, so right in line with this for loop over here, I'm just gonna put in a comment saying color of screen and RGB. Now, what RGB is the combination of red, blue, and green. Now, everyday colors are made out of that combination. So that is basically why we are doing this. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say screen dot fill. See, it's that simple. All you need to do is put in screen.fill. And remember, you need to put in an extra set of brackets over here, okay? And then inside that, I'm just going to put 0, 0, 0. Okay, so that stands for black. And if you want to find any, like, more nice colors, what you can do is you can Google them up. And what you can do in Google or whatever browser you want, I'm using Firefox for now. What you can do is search in RGB combination. Okay, so RGB colors. So if you search that up, you can find out just choose any website you want, and then you can find out what you want. So here you can do RGB color picker, and you can find out the actual the color. Okay, so you can find out all the combinations. Okay, so for example, if I wanted red, it would be 255 for red, 0 for green, and 0 for blue. Okay, so let's try that out. So what I'm going to do is go back to PyCharm. So let's try that out. I'm going to put in 255, 0, 0. Okay, so let's actually run that. So as you can see, we've just got a blank window with no color. Well, that's not what we want, is it? So the reason this is happening is because we haven't actually updated our screen. Now, just in time, pygame actually has a method for that. So what we can do under we have done our screen, we can say pygame dot display dot update. Okay, so that is all you need to do. And now if we put shift and F10, whoa, we got a really bright screen right here. So that's not really the color I want, so let's actually change it. So back to our color chart over here. I'm going to go to here. Okay, so I want this nice lime over here. So, whoops, what was that? It was 255 for green. Okay, so what I want to do is go back to PyCharm. Whoops, what happened? I want to go back to PyCharm. And I'm going to put in 255. Okay, and now if we run it, okay, a very nice bright green screen. Okay, so hopefully now you would have had an idea about red, green, and blue. But for now, I'm just gonna set it to black. Okay, so beautiful. We've set up our title and the color of our screen as well. So now that we have actually done that, we want to actually add in a player. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to we're going to go ahead and actually add in our player. Okay, so now obviously we need to set up a character. So here in our project panel, I've got something called player.png, and this is just a very nice cute image. So if you want to get that, you can go to your browser. So I'm just going to go to my browser and just take away that tab. You can go to something, and all you need to type in actually is flat icon. Okay, so it's really helpful. So I typed that in and that came up. So it gives you nice icons. And what you can do is type in arcade space. Okay, so you'll get some nice images. Don't worry, don't pick the ones with the crowns though, they won't work. So I picked this one, and when you want to size it, you put in 64 pixels, and then it will ask you to download. Okay, so I'm not gonna actually download. I was just showing you guys. So that is what you want to do. So, if you can't find the image or something, I'll put the link in the description. I can download it immediately. Okay, so I'll give you the link. Okay, so let's go back to PyCharm and let's actually add in that image. So what I did is I called my image player.png. It's really nice, so I chose it. Okay, and it was very cute as well. So I chose that one. So player.png. So first of all, where do we want to actually put in our player.png? So what we can do here is under title, I'm going to write a comment saying, whoops, player. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a variable called player img, so player image. I'm going to say pygame dot load. So I need to load the image. So not load, sorry. Pygame dot image. So we know it's an image, and then dot load. So we can load the image. And what image do we want to load? So you need to put this in a string. So I'm going to say I want to load player.png. Okay, so player.png. That is the name of my image. And also, what we want to do is set an X and Y coordinate for our player. So what I'm going to do on the player img is I'm going to say player X is equal to, I'm going to set it to 370. I'm going to say player Y is equal to 480. Now I'll explain to you about that in a minute, but first, after we have done our player, we want to define a function for our player so we can actually display it. So what I'm going to do is all I'm going to say is def player. Okay, and then I'm gonna put in this. And what do I want to do? So I'm gonna say screen.blit, and then I'm gonna put in player img. Whoops, not player, sorry. Player img. What else do I want to put in? I want to put in the coordinates. So I'm going to do that in another set of brackets. I'm going to put in player X and player Y. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I want to blit my player onto a screen, and these are the coordinates. Okay, so what blit means is basically print it onto the screen. And as you can see, I put set player X and player Y to 480. Now, as you can see here, if you ran your game, you would have 800 by 600. So basically, 800 is the width and 600 is the height. So if we run this, actually, sorry, I just wanted to do this. So don't worry about what just happened. So basically, I just came up with a blank window. Don't worry about that right now, but I just did this to explain. So as I said, 800 is the width. So this is the width over here. 600 is the height. So sorry, this is the width actually. So 800 by 600. Okay. And I want to position my player in the middle over here, okay? Then some of you may say, why didn't you position it at 300 and 400 then? It's because the actual image size. Because if the image size would probably be, it won't be like 1 pixel wide or something. It would be probably 64 pixels in my case. and that is why I have to set it approximately half. Okay, so if I look at the x coordinate, this is actually this is 600 for the x coordinate, so we need to set 370. So our player would be positioned right here, but also we want to move it up. So this is 800 in the y-axis and this is 0, so we want to move 480. Okay, so it'd be positioned right here. Okay, so that's really helpful. So as you saw, the player did not get displayed. So I know why that happened. So what we need to do here is in our while loop, we need to actually call the function. Okay, so you may have been thinking of that too, and if you did, good job. So so I'm going to actually move this screen over. I'm just going to actually move this over to here. Okay, I'm going to move that over to there and put space there. Okay, and I'm going to right here, I'm going to put in a comment saying display the player. Okay, so why didn't the player get displayed? That's obviously because we didn't call a function. So all we need to do is type in player, because that's the name of our function. So I'm going to say shift F10. And now you can see my very cute player over here. It's very cute. It's just standing right there. Okay, so if you recap what we did in the video, or what we did is we displayed the player. We also set the title and the color for our screen. We also created the screen, initialized the game, imported the module, made a function for our player, and this is all we had to do in this first video. Now, in the next video, what we are going to do is we are going to detect player movement and some other important stuff as well. So, if you like this video, please subscribe and click the like button. Um, if you have any doubts, please comment down below. And also if you have any suggestions for any future videos, please suggest those in the comments. And don't forget, I will be putting the code for this video in the description. So I'll put the link in the description so you can download it, and I'll also be putting the player PNG image as well, so you won't have to actually go ahead. Okay, so I was just showing you that, but don't worry about it. So I guess that's the end of the video. Please look out for the next videos, and I guess that's it. Bye.